So I've always been really into business. It's fun. It excites me a lot. Every time I think about sales or creating value, whatever it is, I get pumped. And I've always enjoyed that. When my wife and I got married, though, we had nothing. You know, I hadn't learned really how to sell stuff yet, and I hadn't figured out really how to put value out there enough to be sold. You know, I was new. I just didn't know what I was doing yet. When we got married, we only had $1,000 in our bank account between the two of us. We had $1,000 and living bare bones. I mean, scraping by. I mean, we only bare bones. We still had to have $1,100 a month just to live. You know, with rent. You know, with eating. There's no glaze in life. You know, and already that was kind of wearing on me as far as a man goes. I felt like I was. You know, you want to provide for your bride. You want to feel like the man. Anyway, we go up to college. We're in a new town, new city. Neither of us have jobs. We have very limited money, very limited resources. We hardly knew anybody. It was a challenging experience. One day I came home and my wife was still in bed, and I was like, "Hey, you know what's going on?" And she said, "Oh, nothing." Kind of brushed it off. I came home the next day, and same thing. And she's still in bed, and I was like, what's going on? Is it me? Is something wrong? Like, you know, you can talk to me. And she told me that she had only been eating one meal a day. She'd already graduated school. She wanted me to have energy while I was in my classes. And if that doesn't make you feel like you can't provide, you know, I can't describe the pit in my stomach. That was 4 years ago, and that was 5 years ago now. 5 years ago. That sucks, you know, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are like that. Well, anyway, I was like, I gotta do something. Whatever it is, however I get the money, like, we gotta live, like, I gotta eat, you know, my family, it's just the two of us. How are we gonna survive this thing? And I was like, I found out we could get student loans. And I was like, cool, they're coming in 6 weeks, like, we're gonna make it, we're okay, but how do we make it for the next 6 weeks? And I'm the oldest of 6 kids. My parents always taught me to work hard, and so it was weird for me. I called my dad, and I asked him for money, and I was like, Dad, I know this is something you've taught me not to do. I know it's something like you've always kind of wanted me to be, you know, as soon as we get married, we cut the ties, and I get it financially, like, I'm on my own. But I said, hey, you know, I got this money coming in 6 weeks. Do you mind giving us some money now to float us? And then we'll go ahead and we'll pay you back, you know, as soon as I get that money. There was I'll never forget, there's a long pause on the phone. And to my core, I will never forget this. He said, son, no. If I give you this money, you will not exhaust resources that you didn't know you had. I don't really know how we made it through those 6 weeks, but I had this fire in my gut to provide. I did not have a choice. And so I started doing stocks and options, real estate. I was flipping contracts without being a realtor. I was writing ebooks. I did 2 summers of door-to-door sales. I mean, I did everything under the sun. I was an internet traffic driver for Paul Mitchell. I did everything you can even imagine. I don't even know how to name other industries that I had not gone through. And it led me through this cool path. And I figured out exactly what I like to do in this business world and exactly what I don't like to do. Well, we somehow made it, and honestly, I don't quite remember how. One day, my wife comes jumping out of the bathroom, and she's holding a pregnancy test, and she's like, "Whoa, oh my gosh, we're pregnant, whoa!" And we were going nuts. We were so excited. We wanted a kid. We were trying to have a kid, and we were like, it was an exciting period for us, you know. And we were jumping around, and we were like, whoa, you know, holding the little pea stick, you know, and with the 2 lines on it. We're like, whoa, we're so excited. And I actually remember distinctly feeling a little bit sad that while I was excited, my happiness was kind of cut short, because the sinking feeling hit me. Oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this kid? And right about that time, a little bit later actually, I had a buddy call me, and he goes, dude. I mean, he and I were always trying to do business stuff together. We were in the middle of our marketing classes and stuff like that, and he's like, dude, I just found this guy. He's gonna help us make a bunch of money. He's gonna help us make a bunch of money can I three-way him in? And, those are guys who've been in MLM, you know exactly what he's doing. He's trying to three-way me into something. And I was like, and I could tell. I was a telemarketer. I knew it was a great pitch, and my buddy and I were always trying to one-up each other. So I was like, fine, let's see what you've got here, And so I got on the phone with this guy, and great guy, old pitch. I hated it. I asked him all the standard questions. Is this a pyramid scheme? How come I have to pay in order to join? How come I have to, why do I have to really talk to my family members and friends? Do I need to, you know what I mean? It was like, at the end of the call, I was like, no, I'm not joining this. There's no way I'm going to do this. And he was like, okay. And he hung up. My buddy called right afterwards and he goes, dude, come on, you're going to be awesome for this. You'll be great. You're going to love it. It's going to be an exciting thing. I'll be right with you. Of all my friends I can think would kill it in this, you'd be the best one, and he's saying all that kind of stuff. And, which was nice of him. So I was like, fine. But if I do this, I'm going both feet in. You understand? And he was like, awesome. Of course that's what he wanted to. I started prospecting by walking down Main Street. I knew no other way to do it, because right before that, they had me sit down in front of them and write out this huge list of my family members and my friends and all my contacts, and they literally would not let me leave until I called every one of them. And it was one of the most awkward experiences of my life. It was like, oh my gosh, I still feel a little bit sick about it, because that was 4 years ago now. I still have relationships that are soured to this day because of that experience. Just those phone calls, and which sucks. I didn't know that came with the territory of MLM sometimes. I just didn't know that. And I was like, this is freaking garbage. I don't want to have to do this. This is not what I don't want to put a business in front of my friendships or in front of my family. But I was like, but I want to be successful with this. We have this kid coming. There was this massive pent-up energy inside of me. I could barely sleep. I was restless in my head. I could not relax. I couldn't breathe. I could barely eat. I wasn't present in the moment because all the time I was focusing on where can I get the money? And what's funny is I used to think that rich people were greedy. It's totally the opposite. If you are poor, there is nothing else that you think about. You have to think about money, because where are you gonna eat next? And I kind of got a little greedy probably, and I recruited some people I probably shouldn't have, and I started going down Main Street and just recruiting people and businesses and people down the street and some family members and some friends, and I ended up recruiting 13 people my first month in MLM, which wasn't bad. I was hard charging. As soon as I got done with college classes, I was like, I'm gonna get this. I'm tired of feeling like I'm a failure. I'm tired of feeling like I can't do this. I'm tired of feeling, you've probably been there. I mean, everyone's been there before, I was no exception to that. My buddy kind of didn't do it as much anymore. I ended up getting this little trophy thing, but then this thing happened that I did not expect. No one that I recruited did a dang thing. And I was like, this is the most I just wasted a month. This is the most unsustainable thing I can even imagine doing. And all these upline people kept telling me, oh, this is a passive income. This is a passive, and it wasn't true. Total garbage. And there was nothing passive about what they were doing. They were literally running from house meeting to house meeting, to phone three-way in to phone three-way in. I mean, there was nothing passive about it. Not that I'm not willing to do a whole bunch of work up front and eventually it's passive, but the model that they were using is not sustainable. Home meetings, party meetings, to what end? I left MLM. I was so disgusted, which stung because I had been trying lots of stuff. I started selling products online, and I kept thinking though, how do I get this MLM thing to go? One night I was reading this ebook, and I started looking at what the top MLMers were actually doing. And I started noticing that none of the top MLMers are actually doing home meetings. I mean, maybe if they're training, but not really. They're not really doing home meetings, not hotel meetings. I wasn't seeing any of them do phone meetings. All of them did have internet stuff. They all had their own sites. They all had their own products. They all had their own strong web presence. They all had lead gen products where they weren't trying to make money. All it was doing was bringing people to them. And I was like, that's how I have to do this. I went and I spent 8 months looking at the top MLMers. And I was getting their products and I was transcribing them and I was remaking my own versions of them, and finally I got to this point where I could launch it, and I put it out there. And at first, like, nothing really happened, and then it slowly started picking up. And I started, regardless if someone joined the MLM, I started making money. And then people started joining the MLM, and people started coming in, and boom, 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 faster, faster, faster. I was like, holy crap, this is working. And I remember pulling out my phone. It was sitting next to my bed, and I looked at my phone, and it was like all these notifications of people starting to join my downline, and I was like, holy crap. That was a year ago that I launched that first. That I first launched that, and that was crazy that happened. So, you know, everyone else who's a part of this, we've been able to go and create something that is so awesome, because it is, I don't know anyone else in MLM who's doing it. I literally had to create this because I couldn't find anyone else who was doing these things. So, like, these are the real secrets of duplication. There's nothing duplicatable about the models my uplines were teaching me. There's nothing duplicatable about it. I'm not bagging on it, you know. I'm not bagging on MLM at all. I love it. I'm in it. You know, it's great. But the approach, most of MLM is still stuck in the 90s. That's the thing that has hit my head. Most of the tactics are still stuck in the 90s. MLM, when you get it, it's broken out of the box. You have the same scripts. You have the same product. You have the same websites, the same offer. Everything is the same. And that's what I started realizing when I started looking at all these different top guys. I was like, man, none of these guys are doing the way that my upline's telling me to do it. I was like, this is ridiculous. So anyway, so I'm excited. When people join my downline, they have to apply to do it. One of the biggest things I learned from those first 13 is that not everyone wants to do this. And I only want people who want to do it. And so I changed the way I recruit people now. They have to apply, actually. Anyway, I'm the only guy I know that makes you apply to join his downline, but it's because the way I learned to make it truly duplicatable, I can't totally give all the secrets here. For those of you guys who want to apply to join the downline, you can. It's high speed, it's high pace. If you don't know how to do X, Y, and Z, that's okay. What we're looking for is a willingness. If you don't want to do homes and hotel meetings and home parties and stuff like that, like, this is the place for you, okay? Because I don't want to do that crap, and I hate it, and I don't do it. I won't do it. I'm not giving all the pieces here. I just give it all to my downline. Every time I create a new asset or something like that online, I just go and I give it to all of them for free. If you guys are interested in it, just go ahead and apply, and we can take you through the whole application process.